Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Empowerment Moment with Dr. G, yours truly. And here I am here tonight with my beloved daughter, who I can call last minute to set up an Uber drive for me. So I had an opportunity. So if you're wanting to know which of my daughters I'm talking about the Senna Extraordinaire. The other one is the behind the scenes. So you see the flyers that are showing off. The empowerment moment is the second one who gets to design that, and then the older one gets to be on live because she doesn't mind the task when mom draws
Yes.
her, right? So tonight
Yeah.
as I scrambled to travel, I traveled out of town and my train did not cooperate. So I had to be at a conference that I was presenting at. And at the end of the conference, I decided that, okay, I'll do the train and came into New Jersey, expecting to get off at a particular spot, and didn't happen. So, of course, we had an empowerment moment tonight, and I'm just like, I looked at the time, like, okay, God, how am I going to make it? Should I cancel? Should I not? I don't like to cancel. Not showing up or doing what I'm supposed to do is not an option. So, I want to invite everyone for joining in tonight. It's always such an exciting time to have conversations with y'all. And for all of you who will watch or catch this later, I just want to encourage you to have a fantastic summer. And I'm wondering, what are people doing this summer? Any exciting summer plans? Sana, any exciting summer plans besides hanging out with good friends and going to the beach, eating great food? You're like, why are you putting me out there? Right?
I am attempting to plan a trip to Disney with some of my friends from college. It's been a year, so we're all adjusting to not seeing each
Isn't
other.
Disney
So
for little kids?
no, Disney is meant for people that can actually remember their trip.
Oh, I did take
No,
it
I
twice, you
kid. I
know.
kid. Yes. Well, see, and we enjoyed it the second time we went. The first time we went, one of your kids was 2 and was crying. The other one did not enjoy the heat. So I don't think anyone really got to enjoy the park.
So, in other words, as parents, we're always thinking, let's get the kids to go to Disney. This is exciting. And here it is. She's saying you took her when she was little, she can't remember it, wants to go hang out with her friends. Okay, so for those parents that are listening, if you haven't been able to do the Disney trip, don't feel bad because they will eventually end up doing it when they're older anyway. But if you are planning it, I hope you have a good time. I think the worst time to go is July. We went the first time in July and it was the worst. You know, the sun was hot. By the time we walked one day in the park, I was just like tired. But then I think the second time around, we do August? I think we did August the second time
We
around.
did August. Yeah, we did.
It was a little bit better. And that was when we did a 18-hour trip to Disney.
Yes.
See, family trip. It was fun and exciting. So anyway, we're here tonight, our empowerment moment. I want to welcome everyone. Tonight's topic, I'm calling it Surviving the Wait with Courage. Surviving the wait, like wait as in WAIT, not wait as WEIGHT. I'm not talking about people's weight. I'm talking about waiting, the waiting period, and surviving that period with courage. I got that title from a devotional that I was doing. I always often share here that, walking the journey, raising a loved one with special healthcare needs requires a certain level of strength, patience, grace. Grace is really that thing that keeps you going. And it requires you to have a faith. And that's really why I come on here to share my faith and share what it is that keeps me going. So for those of you who look at me and just wonder what the heck, how do you keep doing so much? There's something called the engine that powers me, and it's my faith in the Lord, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And so my power source is really and to inspire others with the same inspiration that I receive from God. So I was reading this devotional by this pastor called Charles Stanley. who I've listened to for many, many, many years. And so he had that title of Surviving the Wait with Courage. And it struck my attention because I'm in a season right now where I'm waiting on God for some really significant big things and breakthroughs. And when it's over and it's complete, I will be so happy to share it here. But right now I'm in a waiting period. So in a waiting period, you just have to wait it out. And so it's almost like a rainstorm and you kind of wait it out on the side. So as I was reading this devotional, I just thought that this would be one to expound on what I was reading and share a little bit on it. When you hear the word wait, and I look in the text in the Bible, there's a scripture that many of us know. And if it's new to you, I'm going to share that with you tonight. And it's from the book Old Testament called Isaiah. And it's from the book of chapter 30. And it's from verses 30 to 31. And it reads like this. Even youth, meaning young people, they grow tired and they grow weary, and young men stumble and fall. But, and the key word is but, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And then another, that was what I call the New Living Translation. So another version says, even youth will become weak and tired, and young men will fall in exhaustion. But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. So another version said that part that says those who hope in the Lord. Another version said those who trust in the Lord. Another version says those who wait on the Lord. Welcome, Ronke. Thank you for joining me inside the Zoom room. It's such a joy to have you here. We're talking about waiting, surviving the wait with courage, surviving the wait with courage. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, we welcome you. And I want to know, what are some of the things you do while you're waiting? What do you do while you're waiting? Senna, what do you do when you're waiting for something huge or something big? Put you on the spot.
I think what I'm doing when I'm waiting is preparing myself. Making sure I'm in the right mental state. I'm prepared so that when it does come and I, get the blessing that I'm waiting for, I know that I'm in a position to make the most of that opportunity or whatever it is.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart. That is just like, wait. Now, of course, someone looking at you is like, oh, look at this young woman saying, I am preparing. I'm sure Ron care, you're sitting here with your 3 kids. When you're waiting, are you like just sitting there all joyful, or you're just like these children? What do you do when you're waiting? What kind of things do you do, Ronke? If you're able to join in the conversation.
Good evening, Ma. So what do I do? I do, like something similar to Senna. I prepare myself, and I do praise. I do a lot of praise because I'm thanking God ahead of what it would do. But at the same time, I have to do my own part, which is, do all the necessary stuffs that I need to do, put in place, and then allow God to take over and do the rest. So
awesome. Wow, I love that. So the key here to words that you both said is that there is an anticipation that in the waiting, something is going to happen. But what if that wait is so long? What if that wait is incredibly long? That's a very, and for many of us who are, when we first get a diagnosis or you get some bad news and everyone around you is reminding you that you have faith in God, just wait on it and it will see you through. Sometimes that period of waiting can seem very, very long. But when I was thinking about this text, which I was sharing in here, one of the key things that stood out to me, and I'm going to get to the waiting part in a minute, the surviving the way with courage part. But the first component of the text that I really wanted to draw out was that one, it says those even youth grow tired and weary. So if you think about the youth they're more very energetic. You think about children, they're more energetic than adult, right? But there's an expectation here that they will even grow tired. So no matter how strong you are, expect that you're going to get to a place where you're going to be worn out. You're going to run out. You're going to run out of steam of waiting, run out of steam of being still. You're going to run out of time, the essence of being worn out. You're going to get to the point of being worn out, both physically and mentally. So there is an expectation that that's going to happen. And I think that's the important part, because sometimes when those things happen, we're surprised, like, oh, I can't believe this happened. No, it's saying here that in life, in this journey of life, expect to get to a place where you're going to fall down or you're going to fall out in exhaustion. So, and how do you know that you've gotten into that place of exhaustion? You start to feel like, and I know for me, I can say that I start to feel very impatient. I don't have as much compassion. I'm irritated. And this is where now the new terminology for that is called burnout. Burnout is when the things that you care about, you don't care about those anymore. You don't have compassion for people. You are irritable. You don't even want to see the things that used to bring you joy. And that's what we talk about, exhaustion. That's being tired and that's being worn out. And that we should expect that can happen to all of us. And that's really, really important to kind of know that even you who are strong can get worn out. You and I, in our journey of caring for our loved ones with special healthcare needs, can get worn out. You may be someone you're caring for, an adult, your parents, or your little children, whatever it may be. You can expect to get worn out physically and mentally. And the key point here is that expect it to occur and then be ready to deal with how to respond to that. And that's really, really important, because so I was thinking about that text. Most of us skipped over that part and go to the waiting part, but I thought it's kind of interesting to really reflect on the fact that even no matter how strong we are, we can expect to get to a place of weariness and fatigue. And then I also talked about, the young men can stumble and fall. So that means that expect that you can make a mistake, expect that you can fumble, expect that you may not make the best decision. And sometimes those things has a huge effect on us. And we beat ourselves for having fallen. We beat ourselves up for having not thought about that issue, or maybe it took you much longer than what you thought it would be. But the point here is that expect it to occur, because even the young people do fumble and fall. So when you fall or make a mistake or get worn down, what are some of the things that we can do? And I was still reflecting on that. And one of the key things I thought about, and in my few days away at this conference, where I was able to give and also receive back, it was also a time out to retreat. It's a time out to be in a new environment. I was out of my zone, out of the things that I was doing. And I realized that I was getting recharged in a way, because the things that I normally need to do, or how regimented I became, I broke away from that for a minute. And it has a way of just making you think differently. So if you're special healthcare, you have a special needs child, or you're caring for someone, I want to encourage you that if you're feeling burned out right now, feeling very tired, very weary, overwhelmed, I want you to just be selfish enough to take a half a day, pay a babysitter and do yourself a favor and take care of yourself. Really, really, really important. Right now, mental health is the number one conversation everyone is having, and we are all at risk for having mental breakdown if we don't take time out and do soul care. And, we go because we say, well, who's going to take care of them? Well, guess what? If you fall sick, you're going to have to find somebody to take care of them. So why don't you do yourself a favor and take some time out and retreat? So that's one of the first things that we need to do when we think about mental health. Mental health means pre-plan and be intentional about taking time out, especially when you start to see the little signs that the things that normally you're patient about, you're not patient about, right? Okay. What are the other things that you can also do? Well, that same scripture that I shared, it said, but those who hope, and another version said those who wait. So I'm going to use the word hope. And if you know me, you know that that's one of my absolutely favorite words, right? What is my other favorite word, Senna? You know what my other favorite word is? No, you don't? I don't know if Ron, can you know? Because you guys are the two people.
Understand?
Oh no, that's not it. No, no. They're not gonna get that joke.
No.
No? Okay. So for my Facebook friends who know me better, they know my other favorite word is intentionality. Intentional.
Yes.
Right? You've heard me say that, right?
Several times.
Several times. There you go. So now you know, everybody. My one favorite word is hope. And I came up with an acronym. I like the word when I can come up with an acronym, holding on to possibilities every day. So that's my favorite word. The other favorite word is intentional. So intentional means that being mindful to plan and do something, right? But placing your hope in God is having faith in that there's someone who's bigger than you, who created you, who knows what's going on with you and knows everything about you and cares about you. That someone is who you put your hope in while you're waiting. That is really, really crucial. That, why you can say, I am out of breath, I have no strength, yet there's someone out there that you can put your hope in. And so that is really, really important. Now let's connect it back to the title that I talked about earlier, surviving the wait with the wait, W-A-I-T, with courage, right? And how do we do that? The reality is this: while we wait, because oftentimes we're waiting because there's delays. There are delays about something we're expecting. Maybe you're expecting something that should have happened. It didn't happen yet. Right now, Monday is supposed to be extended school year, and we're still waiting. We're still waiting what's going to happen because my school district decided that even though we're entitled to it, they just want to make life a little difficult. So we're just in a little bit of a heated conversation right now, where we're going to have to show our muscles and say, you know what? We are entitled and we're going to press in and push it. So while we're waiting, we're having courage and we're having a confidence that it'll all work out the way it is for Nicholas and every other kid that deserves to have their services that they need. So while you're waiting, this is where the courage and survival comes in. So how do we endure the wait? Because the process of waiting can be very discouraging, could be disheartening. The circumstances are not going the way that you want it to go. The burden are too heavy. I mean, like the last few weeks has been an incredible period of my life. It brought me back to the season, which I've shared it here before, when I first finished pharmacy school. And I had to make some really awesome decisions. And at the same time, that decision meant moving to come to New Jersey, where I live. And in that season, I really didn't know what was going to happen moment by moment. I had no idea, no job. I had just gotten married. So thankfully, I was in a good place that I had a life partner who can support me. But professionally, everything else was not where it needed to be. And it was really overwhelming. I was disappointed. But the great news is that a year later, the things that I thought I had given up, that period of waiting, so now as you said it with expectation, I got beyond and above what I could have thought I would have had. And that is important to know, that sometimes when we think we've lost, when we think everything that we had believed for has now fallen apart, I promise you, if you hang on and wait long enough, things can happen. So in that season where it feels like days and months have gone on, and years have gone on, and it doesn't seem like your prayers are being answered, that, it could have been an illness, it could be financial difficulty, it can be conflict, it could be loneliness, it could be uncertainty, there's needs that persist, and you struggle and you're feeling overwhelmed, right? So these are the things that can rob you of the courage that you need, because you're looking around and you're like, oh my God, when is this thing going to get better? Hey, Pat, welcome to the party. Welcome to having a discussion about how we survive the waiting period with courage. And so we're talking about in that season, where one is struggling, it's a bit of making sure that we are in line. Hey, Senna, what happened to my spotlight? Am I still on spotlight mode?
I can still see you, but let me check.
Oh, there you go. Because, I need to be spotlighted. Awesome. So it is all of the pieces here is to make the point that in a season where things may not be going the way you thought it would, there is a temptation to give in to this utterly despair. The temptation to fall back into disruptive habits. And it can rob you of sometimes the progress that you've made. So the reality is and it's not necessarily you created it, it's just situation has happened where you're now feeling like you're struggling and it's hard. But what you have to do, and that's what I had to do, and I'm telling you what I'm dealing with right now, is make a mental note and a determination to wait it out. So if you're listening to me, I want you to say, I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to wait it out, and I'm going to wait it out with courage. I'm going to press in. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to, remember, you're going to retreat for a bit, recognizing that, yes, things are not the way it needs to be, but I'm not going to throw in the towel. The quality that is crucial for our ability to endure suffering and opposition and challenges of life is really having the steadfast and fearless confidence that God will come through for you. He will protect you and he will provide for you. And that determination and that quality is what we call courage. So it's that thing that says, I'm not giving up. I'm not throwing in the towel. I am going to remain steadfast and have faith. Don't throw in the towel. Have faith that you make it to the end. And then, Pat, I'll put you on the spot for a minute. I remember a few years ago and we talked about it a couple of times ago when you've been on this program with me, how you almost throw in the towel before you finished your bachelor's degree. And right, it was a journey and you almost gave up. But somehow along the way, that determination kicked in and you pushed through and made it all the way. So it is the courage or the quality when it's stretched, it is going to be stretched. Yes. And it's refined in the darkest and most painful times. That thing is what's going to bring you over to the other side. So remember, courage is the state of mind that is absolutely essential for you and I to triumph. Yes. It's a state of mind. You're going to say, I have the state of mind of courage. I have the state of mind, that's my state of mind, that I don't give up. Yes. I don't give up. If you start to feel that way, so I want you to do this exercise for me. Write the word courage and write it on the wall. Write it on something, so that anytime you're walking and going somewhere, especially for those of us who are waiting right now, you're going to say, I have the courage to wait. I have the courage to wait. I have the courage to press through. I have it. I have it as a state of mind. And that mind says, I will triumph. That's why you need to see it. And once you see it, the brain will connect to it and the brain will take it and the brain will run with it. So when everything seems bleak, when it seems like there's no hope in view, we must continually trust that God is in control. You may not be in control. I may not be in control, but God is in control. We don't give up. We don't quit because we have faith that God is still in control and he has a wonderful plan for your lives. And the plan may not be the way we thought of it, but we have to believe that it will work out some way or somehow or the other. So when we have to be willing that in life, we will face challenges. People are not going to stand up and clap for you, but guess what? When they're not clapping for you, you clap for yourself. I am my own cheerleader. My kids will tell you, I'm not waiting for them to cheer for me. I am cheering. I'm like, you go, Dr. G. You go, G-Force. You go, you do your thing. I tell myself. So if you see me getting all excited, it's because I tell myself that I am my biggest cheerleader. I am my biggest cheerleader. I'm just giving you all the secrets. I am my biggest cheerleader. Say that to yourself. I am my biggest cheerleader. So if you're watching us on Facebook friends, you are your biggest cheerleader. So the take-home message here is that write down the word courage and say, I'm going to survive the wait with courage. Whatever you're waiting for, whatever you believe in God for, say, I am going to survive the wait with courage. So be willing to face the challenge as it comes. Be willing to forgo good opportunities that may temporarily, because sometimes we're seeing some things that are going by that we have to let it go in order for us to hold on to what God has in store for us. Don't give up. Don't give up, and don't settle for second best. Because sometimes in the process of waiting, things will come around and you're like, well, maybe it was never intended to, so let me just, do this quick thing. No. I have a feeling that, for somebody listening, you've been planning to go get your master's. Anyone? You've been planning to go get that degree, that certificate. And because of maybe it's finance or because it's something else, you're like, oh, okay, maybe instead of that degree, I will just do something else, or I will settle for something else. Don't settle. Wait for the timing and it will come to pass. So remember, when you have courage and determination, you will receive refresh and renewed strength. You will get the oxygen to keep going, and as you mount up with wings like an eagle. So how are you going to stay on track when it seems like everything else seems as dark and it feels like, well, remember this, God is with you. I've said that earlier. He knows exactly where you are. He knows what you're facing, and he is walking with you, and he's providing for you, and he's protecting you along the way. I had to tell myself that, because in this season where there are some things that didn't connect, are not 100% the way I planned it, but I have held on to that word that he is with me, and he's with my children, he's with my family, he's in the place of my work and everything else that's going on, and he's with me. The other thing to think about is this: whatever the season of adversity you're walking in right now, it has a purpose. It has a purpose. I always say that I am such a more nicer person that I would have ever been if I didn't walk the journey that I'm walking in right now, because I have to remember that whatever I'm walking through is making me more compassionate. Otherwise, I'll be selfish. I'll only think about myself. So remember that whatever adversity you're facing, it is for a purpose. And so God is using it to bring the best out of you. So make use of it and make sure that you don't allow it to make you bitter, right? Don't let it just make you bitter that people don't even want to be around you, because whatever it is for a purpose. And then earlier, Ronke, you said, you sing praise and while you're waiting. Yes, in everything, give thanks. In everything, give thanks. Because regardless of what happens, you must give thanks in each and every situation. Courageously waiting for the ones that will bring you through. So take courage. There's no limit to the number of delays and sufferings that we will all experience in life. We will experience something or the other. And then the word here is, you're going to survive that time. You're going to survive that wait with courage. And remember this, that God will use it for your good, and it will allow you to use it to be a blessing to somebody else. So that's kind of like what I wanted to share this evening. In some way or shape or form, I hope that encourages you. I hope that strengthens you. I hope that empowers you, because that's what I am walking in right now. I shared a little bit that we're going through this transition with Nicholas. And in that transition phase, the school district, wanted to go a different direction with him than what we wanted to, even though we're entitled to. And I've had to learn to wait and be patient and not go ahead of the timetable. Make time to listen, learn, connect to people who know more than I do. So no matter how much you think you know, there's always people who know more than you, and make sure you leverage and connect to that. I will say that I am always indebted to the Bach Center, BOGGS. They're a Center for Developmental Disabilities in New Jersey, a Center of Excellence. So check out their website. They have lots of resources for families that have kids on the autism spectrum. And a lot of the material, and I know Ronke's in here, and Pat, I'd love for you to do the Partners in Policymaking class. I think Ronke, they're actually recruiting right now, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
I think I spoke with her about it.
Okay.
Yeah. But the hours is like...
Yeah, she said something about the weekend, the time.
Do me a favor, just take a leap of faith and apply anyway.
I feel better.
Just apply and let's see what will happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I promise you, you'll never regret it.
Okay.
You'll never regret it, because there is so much that you'll learn, people you'll meet who have walked the journey, and you just look back and say, I am so glad. We won't steer you wrong.
I know. I believe that.
And I just think this is your time. So if you're watching me later and you have a special needs loved one, Partners in Policymaking program in New Jersey. And you know what? They actually cover families to attend. And I went to that course and it really became the lifeline in this season. So this season that I'm describing, that I'm saying is extremely difficult and I'm waiting. So this season that I'm saying that I'm waiting, this same season, I am Ronke, no joke. I'm taking the content that I learned 5 years ago and it's helping me right now. So when Nick was 17, it was 2017, I was just having this panic moment, like, oh my God, 21 is going to be here. What's going to happen? And it's true. It is like an overwhelming feeling that happens. And many families have talked about it, and it's true. But the difference is, because of what I learned in Partners in Policymaking program, it has prepared me to deal with what I'm dealing with now. So something I learned 5 years ago is not helping me today. And that's the reason why I'm advocating it right now. So you know me, I like to share empowerment secrets of the kingdom, and then also tell you what is the practical things on earth. If you're in another state, check out and say, Google Partners in Policymaking. And essentially the goal there is to really empower families with information and strategies on how to advocate for your loved one. And advocacy is really meaning that standing up for. And you only can stand up for someone when you know the information and you know what to do and you know how to do it. And so the things that I learned then, plus what I learned in the NJ Lend program, I'm just like, okay, consumer of any information and every information. After that, I also joined the New Jersey Council of Developmental Disability, which has also been another lifeline for me. So I'm listening to different people who have walked the journey ahead of me, and they're teaching me things and they're giving me guidance. And I promise you, you won't go wrong. So Pat, I love you, and I want you to have that experience. And so for those who are watching, please, please, please know that if you're caring for your loved one, there are tools, there are people, there are resources out there that you can leverage connect to them because they're important. And guess what? Once you connect to them, you can be a blessing to somebody else. Ronke, I'll put you on the spot for a minute. What is one thing that you learned from partners that you think has been a blessing to you?
Oh, one, I have more than one.
Okay, share it.
So, one thing that I think stood out to me was when we had the, oh my gosh, how can I forget? Anyway, it has to do with the life, with the IEP, something
Okay.
related to the IEP. I've forgotten the this particular topic that we had that day.
Okay.
And the name was like, you can't have the IEP alone. I know parents usually just go to IEPs without their children and they just decide and they just move on like that.
Right.
Like the kid you're discussing about is not human.
Right.
The kid has to be there, even if he can't, if it's non-verbal,
Right.
he still has to be present and let him know that you are having this meeting because of this child.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, that was what actually stood up because I attend IEPs and I'm like, okay, I'll go alone and that would be.
And that's important. And even if you couldn't bring them, bring their picture with you. Make a seat and put their name and their picture right there.
Wow.
So if for whatever reason they can't, so that the people can now remember that you're talking about someone.
That's a good one.
So that's an example. Practical things that they teach you, examples of what to do. So this way, we're walking this journey empowered with tools that can help us. So I know the deadline is coming up for the application. And so Pat, if you need help with that in any way, you have two of us here who have attended it. And I'm telling you, it's so worth it. It's like you attending university. You found ways to complete your program. This basically for me is like it trumps some of the things that I do or even went to pharmacy school for, because it is the thing that when all else fails, you can go to those resources that will help you support your loved one. That stuff they don't teach you when you're getting your whatever professional degree you're getting. You need a degree of life and a degree in raising a special needs child. I don't know, I just came up with that. We need a degree in how to take care of special needs child. And you need to go to the school. And that school is called Life. And you need to find a way to pull that in. So I just want to encourage us that we need to enroll in the school of special needs, which is really the things that are practical that can help you navigate the journey. And those things can come with certain type of key resources. So if you're listening to me and you're like, oh, no, I don't have time for it, please make time. It's once a month. It's a Saturday and Sunday. They've made it where now it's hybrid, I think. When I went, it was virtual. When I went, it was actually live. And it was really, really, really impactful. So I want to just highlight that again, Partners in Policymaking. It is a lifeline, and they have, because they invite speakers from all over the country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they invite speakers from all over the country. So that make it really, really impactful that way. So it's not like it's just local. And you also meet other individuals who are walking the journey at different stages. And it's not just autism, but we even meet self-advocates, you meet, family members. So right now, that's what I want to advocate on that note. So as an organization, my goal is just to support families facing autism and other intellectual disabilities throughout their lifespan. As we walk that journey, we bring others with us. And whether you have special needs child or not, know that raising children requires knowledge, and it is constant knowledge, because you just never know when you're going to need that wisdom. So go seek it out. And then, of course, coming back to my topic today, I hope it was a blessing to you one way or the other. Waiting out and surviving the wait with courage. So you're going to say surviving the wait with courage, and you're going to write that down. Like I said, excerpts of that was taken from the devotional written by Charles Stanley, and then the rest of it was me talking, as I always do. I hope you've been blessed by being here tonight, and thank you for joining, and hope to see you back next month. We'll be back here. What day am I back? Let me just look at the clock. I think we are back July 28th. So we can't wait to see you all in that time. So thank you everyone for joining us, and have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye now. God bless.
Bye-bye.